there. It's almost Easter time, and I love this holiday for a lot of reasons, personal and such, but I love making all the things that go with whatever your meat choice is. I mean, I like meat, but I'm all about those sides. So today I'm going to share with you 2 sides that I always have at Easter, and often they make it to Christmas. One of them makes it to Thanksgiving. They're just so good and easy, and I'll tell you why. So first step, I'm going to be showing you marinated asparagus. I got this recipe, I didn't even write down how long ago, but this recipe card is like old school. This is like pre-kids. So I, when I first moved to Nashville, got subscription to Southern Living magazine, and somebody gifted that to me, my friend Jan Purrier. Hi, Jan. And in there was this recipe called marinated asparagus, and I was like, well, that sounds kind of cool. So anyways, I decided to give it a try. It had 4 ingredients. I barely knew how to cook at that point in my life, and it involved kind of boiling a vegetable for a little bit and then putting it in some stuff, and I could leave it all day, and then I drain it and I was ready to go. And I thought, I can do that. You can do this one. If you're not a cook and you don't know what you're doing in the kitchen, trust me, you can do it. So I love this one. Here's why it's also a really, really great veggie to have at holiday events. Holidays are always a little bit stressful, especially if you're the host or you're cooking. There's a lot going on in the kitchen. This one you make in the morning, you let it marinate all day, and then you strain it off and you put it on a pretty serving dish and it's ready to go. You don't heat it, you don't have to do anything to it, but just drain it and leave it at room temp, and people go crazy. It's so good. Plus it kind of has that little bit like a tang, acidic, and typically holiday meals you're having a lot of fatty foods. And so this one really cuts through the kind of the fat. Like it's not, you don't want to have fat upon fat upon fat. You want to have something kind of tangy to help when you go back in for that fatty bite to really like make it shine. So love a marinated asparagus. Here, this is a recipe card if you can zoom in. It has the sleeve, you guys. That I've talked before about the sleeve. My mom made me that recipe box when I first got married, and the special family recipes got the sleeve because she knew they'd be used all the time. And this is so sweet. It's also all in my mom's handwriting. It's just precious to me. This is Roadside potatoes. I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea where she got it. The name Roadside, like what the heck? But here's the deal. It's so simple. You can do it. It has 5 ingredients plus some spices. You can handle that. And it starts with Oretta shredded hash brown potatoes. How easy is that? So I suppose if you wanted to get super fancy, you could shred your own potatoes, but really, why bother? So I have these just sitting out, getting thawed, and then literally all I'm gonna be doing is melting together some butter with half and half and some spices, and then I put some Parmesan cheese and I bake it. That's it. Everyone goes crazy for these potatoes. The first year I brought them to my husband's side of the family, everybody was like, these are great. And now I bring them every single Christmas. They're just a staple, and we always had them at Easter. So I'm gonna show you how I put both of these things together. So simple, easy, you can do it. They're great sides, and they're gonna make your life really easy, and you're gonna love them. Okay, so in preparing my asparagus, one thing you always think, it had a rubber band right here. I took that rubber band off because I'm gonna do a little trick to test to see where the best place to cut my asparagus is. So usually this is what I was taught. You take and you bend it like this, and wherever it snaps, that's where you're gonna make your cut. So this is about the right spot. Asparagus is kind of what they call woody, where it just feels kind of gristly. If you've ever had asparagus where you feel like you're chewing it and chewing it and chewing it, these ends are a little bit dry, and so you want to get to the spot where it's real tender. So that'll be the spot where I'll cut my asparagus before I put it into my boiling water. Okay, so you've cut your asparagus in the right spot. And a little tip, I always leave the rubber band, the top rubber band. There's 2 rubber bands, but I leave this one on until right before I'm gonna drop it in the boiling water. So this all comes together super fast. So boiling water I have ready, but I also have an ice bath. So what we're gonna be doing with this is only, it's like I've heard it being called parboiling, or there's one other word, I forget what it's called. Anyways, you're gonna just cook it for a very, very short amount of time. And then you're going to shock it in a little ice bath. So I already have that ready to go, and my water's boiling. Very important, salt your water. A couple big pinches of salted water in there. And then I will very carefully, because the stems are tender, remove that rubber band and drop this into the boiling water. So it's only gonna go for 3 minutes. So it does not take long. And you're just gonna see it come to a really bright, bright green. And then I'm gonna remove it immediately and put it right into my ice water. So I'll see you in a sec. Time's up. So now you quickly remove this and put it right into your ice bath. And like I said, this is called shocking the vegetables, but the vegetables will be nice and bright green at this point and just crisp tender. They're not cooked through by any means, but you don't want them to be cooked through in this case. And this process of putting it into an ice bath stops the cooking process and basically preserves the vegetables. This is actually a great tip if you're ever having a dinner party and you have a lot of things you're trying to do at the last minute. Blanching is the word I was looking for earlier, but blanching your vegetables, blanching is a little bit like shorter cooking time. This is, I call it parboiling or boiling, but for a really short amount of time, 3 minutes in this case. And then you shock them, and then you can just keep them in your fridge. When your guests come and right before you're gonna serve, heat up your skillet, throw in your fat, whether it's butter or clarified butter, olive oil, whatever, and then bring your vegetables up to room temp and get them all hot and sizzly and get a little crispy on there and some salt, pepper, and you're ready to go. But your vegetables don't have to then take all the time to cook. So this is a great little method for that. So these just sit in here for just a little bit of time. They don't need much, but you just want to cool them down. So what I will do now is remove them from this ice bath. And I have a little colander that I just put some paper towels in. You don't want these to sit in the ice water for too long. It's not bad to let them hang out for probably up to 5 minutes, but they can get a little soggy. So those are in there. They're just kind of getting dried off. Now in my Ziploc bag for the marinated asparagus, 3/4 cup, well, it's 2 pounds asparagus. I'm actually doing a half recipe for my family today, but normally I would do 2 bundles for like a family gathering or for Easter when you have more people typically, but 2 pounds of fresh asparagus. Put in here 3/4 cup of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a 1/2 cup of balsamic vinegar, and 4 cloves of garlic that you've smashed. No salt, no pepper. It's really simple. It seems odd, like something's missing, but trust me, it's awesome. So I already measured that into my Ziploc bag, and then I will simply take these guys and just pop them in here. The best thing about this recipe, you guys, like I said earlier, is it's quick, easy. You make it in the morning, and then you serve it at room temperature. You don't even have to cook it. So you have a wonderful vegetable that's super flavorful without a lot of last minute work when you're trying to get the glaze on maybe your ham or some other last minute things that you got going on. This is also one of our family favorites at Christmas time. I always bring this to the family events because it's great because you're lacking in oven space typically at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving also. So anyways, this will now go into my fridge. It hangs out all day, and then when I'm ready to roll, I just drain it, and the asparagus is ready to serve. It's so good. You're gonna love it. Okay, next up, we've got the roadside potatoes. So excited. Okay, my hash browns are here. They've been thawing. Typically what I would do is like the night before, just throw them in the fridge from the freezer and let them kind of thaw that way. And then right before I make this, I'll just take them out of the bag, put them into my 9x13 that I've just sprayed with a little bit of pan, or you could grease it with some butter, whatever your preference. And then in my big Pyrex pouring thing here, I measured out 3 cups of half and half. I know, but it's a special occasion. It's Easter. We want to celebrate. And then 1 stick of butter, so 1/2 cup of butter. Melt that in the microwave, and I added some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. All the recipe in the notes section underneath my YouTube post, so you can get the full scoop there. And then it's a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then some dried chives, or you could do some parsley as well. So you just want to give this a real quick stir, and then this is it, guys. It's just not that difficult. Just pour this over the potatoes that are thawed. Oops, I'm losing some. Don't mind my little mess right there. That's okay. That happens in real life. So this is here. Just gonna I'm just gonna shake it to make sure I got the liquid going. And then I just take this cheese and I just evenly distribute it. Now, Notice this is not from the green can. I've talked about my Parmesan cheese before. There are some ingredients, you guys, you just really want to spend a little more on. Parmesan cheese, in my opinion, is absolutely one of them. Olive oil is another. We'll talk about that at some other time. Okay, some dried chives, I think do the trick. You could do fresh if you wanted, but I do these not as much for flavor, but I like the little bit of color that it gives it. These potatoes will cook up, they'll be kind of golden. And then you've got this nice little contrast. I'm gonna do a few more against that, and that is it. So easy. You can thaw potatoes, you can microwave, or just in a saucepan, melt butter with cream, or half and half. You can do it, and spices. And then this is it, and you bake it for an hour, and the magic happens. I can't wait to show you when it's all done. Scott's already going, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I'll see you in a sec. Okay, I just want to get a nice little shot. It's about ready to come out. I'm gonna let it go for a minute more just to get a little more golden brown, but you can see how it just kind of gets a little bit crispy on top, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's gonna be so good. Test tasting in a moment. I have patiently allowed my potatoes to cool. It was a challenge. So, I'm cheating because this is actually gonna be served a little bit later today with marinated pork tenderloin that I threw in a bag this morning because I needed to make this obviously ahead of Easter to show you guys how awesome this could be. But this is essentially what we got. The asparagus, so good. Crisp, tender, juicy, balsamic-y, if that's even a word, I made it a word. It's so good. A little bit of sweetness from that sugar, but it's not sweet. Don't think sweet. Just tender and so good and fresh. And then the potatoes. You guys, the potatoes, they're everything. I need a moment. Creamy. Little bit of garlic, because that's one of the spices that I throw in there. A little garlic powder. A little bit of garlic going in for a second bite, because I just need to double check. A little bit of crisp from the Parmesan cheese on top. These two are winners, you guys. Here's the other thing. These potatoes, you could make them in the morning and then just warm them up. They are great when they're fresh and bubbly, but they actually do kind of settle down. You know, like if you make like a lasagna, you gotta let it hang out for quite a while so the juices kind of redistribute and you don't cut into it and it just oozes out everywhere. These potatoes are similar that way. So making them early can sometimes be a benefit because then you warm them up and they're not too juicy, if you will. So anyways, couple of sides for you for your Easter. I hope whatever you're doing for Easter or for any night of the week, you can make these, that it's a good time and that you would give these a try, enjoy them. They are definitely a family favorite and one that I think, or both that I think that you'll really, really enjoy. So happy Easter, delight of the bite, subscribe if you haven't. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, every Wednesday evening is when I post, Pacific Standard Time, is when I post a new video. So you can be on the lookout for what's coming up next. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.